Welcome back, everyone. Here is another part from Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. So just to recap a little bit, we've learned Charles Chillington is not the most honest person. He's not the best friend. In fact, we don't even know if he has any friends. And there's a couple kids who are making an alliance and deciding to work together, which might be a good idea because, if we work with each other and synergize, we might be able to accomplish more. And I think Kyle and his friends are going to find that. Let's get back to it. Chapter 21. Ouch! I'm stuck! Help me! Haley Daly's cries sailed up the staircase as Kyle led the charge down the steps to help her. So what exactly are the stacks? Said Akimi. That's where the library stores its collection of research material, said Sierra. The three of them reached the basement. It was filled with tiny rows of floor-to-ceiling shelving units. Help! Haley sounded like she was on the far side of the room, behind the wall of metal storage racks. What is all this stuff? Said Kyle. Mostly it's rare books and documents you can't check out, said Sierra. But if you fill out a call slip, you can use one of the materials from the reading room. With a whirl and a whoosh of its electronic motor, a shiny robot, the color of a stormtrooper in Star Wars, scooted across the intersection between bookshelves. It moved on tank treads and had what looked like a shopping cart in front of it. Let's follow that robot. It might be the fastest way to Haley, said Kyle. The trio dashed up a narrow pathway to where they saw a robot extending its quadruple-jointed mechanical arm to pluck a flat metal box at the slide-in compartment. The box had been stored in a section that read Magazines and Periodicals, 1930s. Someone upstairs wants an old magazine, said Akimi. They're probably researching the Gold Leaf Bank building, said Sierra. I think it was built in 1930. Sorry. Help, said Haley. I'm stuck. Hang on, shouted Kyle. We're coming. Well, hurry up already. They scampered up another aisle, turned right, and saw Haley. Her hand jammed through a slot near the top of the basement wall. To reach it, she had to stand on an elevated treadmill, maybe 30 feet long. And since the thing was rolling, Haley had to jog in place so she wouldn't fall on her face. The high-tech conveyor belt was actually a series of rollers. 10 robot carts, staggered so no two were directly across from each other, were lined up on either side. I think it's an automatic book sorter, said Sierra. The laser beam near Haley's ankles probably scans the book's tag and tells the conveyor belt which of the 10 sorting trays to put it in. You guys, hurry up and rescue me! Kyle stepped back, trying to figure out the situation. What's the slot you're holding on to? The bottom of the stupid book drop, said Haley. I saw it on the floor plan. People can walk up on the outside of the building and return their books. I figured it leaded down here. Smart move, said Kyle. You could crawl through it and escape. If you were the size of a book, said Akini. I never got that far. The minute I stepped on this thing, the belt started moving. Probably a weight activated, said Kyle. A book falls in, the sorter starts up, said Akimi. Clever, said Kyle. Plus, it gives our game its first booby trap. Well, the game is no fun if you're stuck in the trap, said Haley. Kyle turned to Sierra. We need to stop the belt so Haley can yank her hand out of the slot without falling on her butt and cracking open her skull. Have you read a book about the hero outwits an escalator or a rolling checkout belt at the grocery store? No, said Sierra. How about one where the hero flips an emergency switch that turns things off? Because that's what I would do if I could find one. Akimi was standing next to the wall where there just happened to be a switch. She flicked it, and the conveyor belt slowed to a stop. Ta-da! Another chapter from my amazing, awesome autobiography, if I ever write one. Haley yanked her head out of the book return slot. It sort of plopped when she finally sprang free. She collapsed to her knees on the frozen treadmill. My hand feels flatter than a pancake. Are you hurt? Said Kyle. Maybe we should tell the security guys that what? I have a boo-boo and I need to go home? Forget it, Kyle. You're not getting rid of me that easy. I'm not trying to. Save it, Kyle, she said. She crawled off the conveyor belt. One way or another, I'm going to win this game. I just hope starring in Mr. Lemoncello's commercials earns me some decent money. She hobbled around the bookshelves toward the staircase to the reading room. When she was gone, Akimi raised her hand. Question? Yes, said Kyle. How come the guys inside the control room didn't flip a switch if they saw that she was stuck? Kyle shrugged. Maybe they weren't watching. Actually, said Sierra, pointing to a tile on the floor, I think they were. Kyle looked down. The tile was glowing, like a computer screen. Kyle saw the words across it. Congratulations. he read out loud. "For helping Haley and being a sport, you've earned much more than a good report." The file popped open. Inside a small compartment, there was a rolled-up tube of paper and a yellow card attached to the end. "Huh, I guess somebody was watching," said Akimi. Kyle pulled the yellow card off the paper tube. It smelled like lemons. "What's it say?" Kyle flipped the card over so Sierra and Akimi could see it. "Super duper bonus clue." Chapter 22. Oh man, that was so dumb. Haley could not believe what an idiot she had been. Trying to crawl out of the book return slot? Like that was going to work. She was giving herself a good talking to as she trudged up the steps to the first floor. When she entered the rotunda, she saw Charles Chillington slipping out to the lobby again. Chillington was a snake. Worse, he was a garden slug. Maybe even a leech. Something oily and slimy that left a greasy trail like a mooch on other people's ideas. That was why Chillington had trailed the twin library nerds, Peckman and Fernandez, upstairs last night on the dessert hunt. Haley's smart enough to know that Chillington was hoping to steal their ideas. Actually, Haley was a lot smarter than anybody, except her teachers, knew. With certain people, mainly grown-ups and silly boys, pretending to be a ditzy princess made getting what she wanted a lot easier. And what she wanted right now was money. Lots of money. Her dad had been out of work for nearly a year. They ran through all their savings. They had to borrow from relatives. If Haley could win his competition and become Mr. Lemoncello's smokes bottle, her family's money woes would be over and they wouldn't have to sell their home. And once other people saw her on TV, then they'd want her for their commercials too. And movies. Maybe she'd have her own TV show. Maybe something on the Disney Channel. But for all that to happen, Haley needed to win, and fast. Something better than crawling through the slot had to come to her mind. Maybe she could flush herself down the toilet. She headed over to the book cafe so she could sit down and think. She stepped in the room and checked out the snack table. There was trays of cookies, strawberries, bananas, and brownies. Sitting down to nibble on a cookie, she studied the row of cookbooks. One in particular caught her eyes. Cupcakes, cookies, and pie. Oh my! Because the cover looked extremely familiar, two sheep made out of chocolate frosty cakes with gobs of miniature marshmallows, Haley had seen it before. In the lobby. It was in the glass case of memorable reads selected by the staff. She went over to the shelf, picked up the book, and when she opened it, she discovered two cards. One was a 4-inch piece of paper with a black silhouette of a sheep on it. The second card was yellow, about the same size as a community chess card in Monopoly. Haley sniffed it. Smelled like lemons. On one side of the yellow card was printed, "Super duper bonus clue." On the other side was the clue. "Your marvelous memory has earned you even more memories. Proceed to the Lemoncello memorabilia room. Look for item number 12. Haley slid both cards in her pockets of her jeans, pulled out the library floor pan, and found the there's a hard word to say, sorry guys, Lemoncello room. It was on the 3rd floor. Making certain nobody, especially Charles, was following her, Haley quietly dashed up the spiral staircase to the 2nd floor. Checking for Chillington one more time, she tiptoed up to the 3rd floor, where she found the room she was looking for. Haley opened the door and slipped inside. The front room was like a storage warehouse. Cardboard boxes were stacked on top of wooden crates with plastic bins full of papers. All the boxes, bins, and crates were numbered. She saw one labeled 576. "I guess Mr. Lemoncello doesn't throw anything away," she said. She started looking for box number 12. Weaving her way through the stacks and columns, Haley finally found her super duper bonus item number 12. It was an old boot box from the Alexanderville shoe store Haley had never heard of. Someone taped a label on it, "Paraphernalia and doodads from Mr. Lemoncello's 12th year." Haley lifted the lid. The box was filled with all sorts of confusing knickknacks. Handwritten type notes, a star-spangled red, white, and blue Humphrey button, a battered clasp envelope sealed up with tons of tape. Someone had scribbled, "First and worst idea ever," on the envelope. There was also a felt pennant from Disneyland and a rubber-banded stack of cartoon cards for something called Wacky Packages. The top card was Wiki's Breakfast for Chumps. Haley knew this memory box had to be an important clue. But why? She had absolutely no idea. Chapter 23. Kyle flipped over his lemon-scented super-duper bonus card and read what was written on the other side. You will find the ultimate version of this board game on the second floor balcony circling the rotunda. Huh? What does that mean, said Akimi. I don't know. Roll the paper out and see. Akimi and Sarah helped Kyle anchor the edges of the scroll to the floor. Okay, said Kyle. It looks like an early sketch for a board game. You see the circle in the center? That's probably where you put the spinner. You move your pieces around the 10 rooms. He stopped. Wait a second. What? Do you recognize this game? Yeah, said Kyle. I played it this week with my brother. It's Mr. Lemoncello's bewildering, baffling bibliomania. It takes place in a make-believe library. What about finding the ultimate version up on the second floor balcony? Said Sierra. Let's go, said Kyle. Coming up from the basement, Kyle saw Andrew Peckelman in the middle of the rotunda reading room, opening a long metal box and sitting on the center desk. The holographic image of Mrs. Tobin was there, smiling impatiently, as Peckelman pulled out some kind of magazine. That's the box we saw the robot pull off the shelf, said Akimi. Kyle nodded. He motioned for theirs to follow him and slipped around the desk, and Akimi and Sierra slunk after him. In the shadows on the far side of the room, they saw Haley Daly heading up the staircase that they had just come up, steps that would take her back to the basement. Kyle wondered if she found something else to crawl through. If so, he hoped it was bigger than a mailbox. Is this the real magazine? He heard Peckerman shout to the hologram. Yes, Andrew. This concludes your librarian consultation. Next, Miguel, how can I help you? Not so fast. I'm not done, said Andrew. Your consultation just concluded, said Miguel. Says who? The librarian. Miguel, said the hologram. What is your question? Sorry, bro. Told you so. She's just like Mrs. Youngins at school, said Peckelman. All the librarians like you better than me. Yo, ease up. You'll see, Mrs. Tobin. You'll all see. I'm going to beat Miguel big time. And when I win, I'm going to tell Mr. Lemoncello to fire you. She's a hologram, said Miguel. You can't fire somebody who actually doesn't exist. Then I'll tell Mr. Lemoncello to pull her plug. Peckerman grabbed his magazine and stormed out of the room. I guess Andrew's planning on doing something with the front door, Kyle whispered to Akimi. Well, that's totally dumb. They already told us the way out is not the way we came in. Maybe Andrew doesn't think Dr. Zinchenko was telling us the truth, said Sierra. Come on, said Kyle, and he led everyone upstairs. This item has been temporarily removed from the stacks, Miguel, said Mrs. Tobin. You will find it on the display case next to the original Winkle and Gimbel scale model. Let me give you the location. There was a grinding sound when movie tickets shot up through a slot in the box office. Miguel snatched the small square of paper and popped it from the librarian's desk and spun around. He froze as he saw Kyle, Akimi, and Sierra sneaking around the room behind him. Hey, said Miguel. Yo, said Kyle, what's up? Nothing, just working on this puzzle. Yeah, us too. Okay, see you later. Later. The boys thumped their fists to their chests like baseball players do. Miguel turned and ran for the staircase, winding up to the second floor. Come on, guys, said Kyle. When Kyle, Akimi, and Sarah made it to the balcony, they watched Miguel run to the third floor. As soon as he disappeared to the room up there, Kyle unrolled the game sketch. Look at the drawing and look down at the floor, he said. It's the same, said Sierra. Exactly. A circular room with a round desk as the center of the circle. Awesome. And there's 10 doors around the balcony up here on the second floor, just like the game board. Kyle tapped the game. See how the spinner divided in 10 different colored sections numbered 0 through 9? It looks like the Wonder Dome, said Akimi. When it's not doing its kaleidoscope thing or running a video, it makes you think that it's like a spinner. Well, in the game, you have to go to all 10 rooms and answer trivia questions about a book. If you answer correctly, you slip a book in your bookshelf and move to another part of the library. When you have 10 books, one from each room, it's basically a race to see who can exit the library first. That sounds familiar. Okay, said Akimi, this is good. This is major. Except one thing's missing, said Kyle. What, said Sierra? Mr. Lemoncello always worked a clever backdoor shortcut into his games. For example, in Family Frenzy, you can use the cool chute to slide down the millionaire's mansion at the end, said Akimi. Exactly. And in that castle game, Charles snuck out through the sewers. Anyway, when my brother Curtis beat me at Bibliomania. You lost? Said Akimi. It happens. Once in a while. But only because Curtis used a shortcut. I took him straight out to the street. He beat me with one spin of the spinner. I don't see any black squares in the floor on our rotunda, said Akimi. Maybe, said Sierra. In his new game, Mr. Lemoncello put the secret square someplace beside the main room. Kyle nodded. And maybe to win this new game, we need to play the old one. You're a genius, said Akimi. No, my brother Curtis is a genius. I just like to play games. So do libraries even have board games? Sure. I think the library in my dad's town had them, said Sierra. Which department? Young adult. Akimi tapped the map. 3rd floor, stairs over there. Let's go. But before they could take off, they heard Mr. Lemoncello's voice echoing from the rotunda. Are you ready for your extreme challenge, Bridget? Kyle and his teammates peered over the balcony. Bridget was standing in front of the librarian's desk. Yes, sir, she said. Are you sure? You still have 22 hours to find the exit. I want to go for it now, sir. Get a jump on everyone else. Very well. Dr. Zinchenko, reset the statues. The 10 holographic statues in their recessed nooks flickered off, leaving blank spaces. This extreme challenge is based on the classic game of Author's Card Game. Here are the authors in your deck. Magically, new holograms appeared. Charles Dickens, Raymond Chandler, Edgar Allan Poe, Agatha Christie, Patricia Highsmith, Mario Puzo, Frederick Forsyth, Jean Le Carre, Dashiell Hammett, and Fyodor Dostoevsky. He wrote Crime and Punishment, said Bridget. Indeed he did. In fact, said Bridget, all those authors wrote crime novels. Correct again. However, that's the easy part. Dr. Z, how do we make this author's game ridiculously difficult to make it an extreme challenge? Simple, the librarian's voice said. You have 2 minutes, Bridget, to name 4 books written by each author. That's impossible, Kyle said. Not really, said Sierra, and she started rattling off titles. As Mr. Lemoncello said, go! Okay, Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, 10 Little Indians, Death on the Nile, The Mousetrap, Somewhere a Bell Dinged. Poe, The Murder of the Rue Morgue, The Mask of the Red Death, The Purloined Letter, The Cask of the Armadillo, another ding. Bridget kept going. Man, what grade is she in? College, said Kyle. 7th, said Akimi, just like us. Bridget kept tearing through the authors. The bell kept dinging. But the clock kept ticking, too. 10 seconds, said Mr. Lemoncello. Bridget had saved the worst for last. Dostoevsky. Crime and Punishment. Oh, Crime and Punishment. The one about the brothers. She was stalling. A buzzer sounded. I am sorry, Bridget, said Dr. Zinchenko, but as we advised you, the extreme challenges are extremely difficult. You will be going home now with some lovely parting gifts. Kindly hand your library card to Clarence, and thank you for playing Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. That settles it, said Kyle. I'm never going to ask for one of those extreme challenges. Me neither, said Akimi. I might, said Sierra. Maybe. And then she showed Kyle and Akimi the rumpled up sheet of paper she had written down 5 book titles for all 10 authors. I think Sierra is a very good person to have on their team. All right, guys, we're at chapter 25, and there are 56 chapters in this book. I will keep posting more chapters every day for you. Hope you're enjoying them. I know if I keep going, we will definitely have this book done by the end of the week. Maybe we'll be back at school. Maybe not. We have to wait and see. We want everyone to be safe and healthy. So I hope you're enjoying the books that all the Sheridan staff are reading for you. I'm loving it. I'm loving it as a great way to keep in contact with you all. And there'll be more later as we try to escape from Mr. Lemoncello's life.